Hi YouTube. I'm just going to read a snippet from the Guardian article about the NSA. The internet has recently exploded about that, so I'm going to read the article from the Guardian, or a snippet from that, and then comment on it a little bit. It's pretty big. Alright. So, the individual responsible for one of the most significant leaks in U.S. political history is Edward Snowden, a 29-year-old former technical assistant for the CIA and current employee of the defense contractor Booz Allen Hamilton. Snowden has been working at the National Security Agency for the last 4 years as an employee of various outside contractors, including Booz Allen and Dell. The Guardian, after several days of interviews, is revealing his identity at his request. From the moment he decided to disclose numerous top-secret documents to the public, he was determined not to opt for the protection of anonymity. He said, "I have no intention of hiding who I am because I know I have done nothing wrong." Snowden will go down in history as one of America's most consequential whistleblowers, alongside Daniel Ellsberg and Bradley Manning. He is responsible for handing over material from one of the world's most secretive organizations, the NSA. So, pretty big. And then I just have a few thoughts on that. I'm not very good at speaking extemporaneously, so I'm just going to read a little bit of what I posted on Facebook. I mean, I'm speaking extemporaneously now, but it's a little bit weird. There's a couple of points, and I did talk about one or two on the Facebook post, and there's another post where there's an additional point. Basically, the argument against leaking information, or no, the argument for having NSA, or government agencies going through your privacy is that if you've done nothing wrong, then you've got nothing to hide. This is so hypocritical to say that, and then to say, well, the NSA should be able to, search you and blah blah blah, but you can't leak any information about the NSA or the government. So if you want to have moral consistency, you have to apply it universally. It can't just apply to the government or to individuals. If you're going to apply the right to privacy for the government, meaning like, well, there's just certain information the government can't tell us, then why wouldn't that be applied to the civilians? That doesn't make sense to me. And I just said in the Facebook post that the government doesn't practice universality. It's comprised of hypocrites that do not hold themselves accountable to the same actions that they hold civilians accountable to. The difference between government and civilians is that the government has no right to privacy. The reason it has no right to privacy is because it is a collective entity. Now, if you believe in that, then you believe corporations have rights and whatever. But as far as I'm concerned, individuals have rights, not government. So there is no right for government to have privacy. There is no right for government to do anything or even really exist, in my opinion. And then there was another point I made. It was additional to that. Let me just see if I can. Okay. Right. Okay, so even if we were consistent to say that, if you have done nothing wrong, you've got nothing to hide, meaning, well, if we want transparency of the civilians, then we'll just translate that to the government and we'll advocate that the government have transparency, but you're probably not going to get very far in doing that, especially after Ron Paul tried to push through Audit the Fed to give some transparency to the Federal Reserve System. Other politicians, surprisingly, wouldn't have it. So, as far as trying to be consistent on that side of the argument, I don't think that's going to happen. My point that I wanted to make was being private or having privacy by itself is no indication of a crime. People have the right to choose what kind of information they disclose or don't disclose to others. So it's kind of like it all goes along with the war on terror. There's no crimes being committed by innocent people, but innocent people are being treated as though they are criminals. It's this whole backwards thing of guilty before innocent instead of innocent before guilty. But morally and logically, the whole guilty before innocent makes no sense. And when like if we start really going full steam into the surveillance state, I think we're going to have some serious problems. I'm glad that there are a lot of people that are against the internet regulations that have come up, CISPA, SOPA, PIPA, however you pronounce them. But there's still a lot of people who tend to err on the side of safety, and they're willing to give up liberty for safety. And that translates to other consequences logically and morally that I think fall apart. But that was all I wanted to say on the NSA. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. And yeah, have a good one.